Cool.
So I think how my vision for how this is kind of gonna play out is,
Sure.
I want to review Baker's Acres and just, talk about all the great things you do for families and dogs. And then I was going to create like an infographic type thing, or also another separate video talks
Okay.
about how, kind of like the results of like our meeting type
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I was thinking, but I do have a ton of questions because when we move, we're gonna get a dog, and so obviously,
Well, there you go.
yeah. So I thought it would be a cool way to also review your business, because I know you guys do a lot of different things to help families, from what I think you do.
Yes, for sure.
So the first thing is, I guess, tell me all about Baker Acres. When did you start, and kind of?
It's a long story. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So I'll try to give the Reader's Digest version, but
Okay.
basically it all started because our neighbors wanted somebody to watch their dog for them while they were out of town. But even before that, I had always struggled with finding a job, holding a job. I was never happy in the workforce. I worked for a variety of different companies. I worked at a children's pediatric dentistry as an office assistant and then office manager. I worked obviously multiple fast foods and catering. I worked at one of the university's catering, and yeah, so all of these different things, and I even worked for Vivint for a time, which was formerly Apex. So yeah, I did the whole summer sales thing, especially with my husband when we were first married. We did that for 3 years and we're done with that. We're not doing summer sales anymore. So anyway, it kind of spurred on from that. My husband had cancer when we met. He was going through radiation treatment. And so it's always been kind of an issue with our family that, or a, I don't know, an underlying fear that he may or may not be with us for what we would expect a typical life to be and a marriage to be. So, and plus he also has multiple, due to his service in the military, he does have a disability, and he also has lots of psychological things that he's dealing with. So it's always been on the back of our minds that Sara needed to find something that Sara could do and not rely on Eric. So from an early age, I was born and raised in a family with dogs and cats and horses and a menagerie of animals. And so I've always had that kind of a knack for animals. My mom and I got serious into training our own dogs, as well as hosting seminars and workshops for dog agility. So when I was in high school, my mom and I would go and attend trials, weekend trials, like almost every weekend. And we competed with our 3 dogs. I had an not Australian Shepherd, a Shetland Sheepdog at the time. She was nearing her older age, and we decided to retire her. And my mom and I both got Jack Russell Terriers. Little did we know that that was a bad thing to do. Get 2 of them at the same time, and also females. Don't ever raise females together. It's, yeah, personal experience. Don't do it. I'll go into detail about that later, but basically, we raised the 2 of them. They were not from the same litter. They were from different litters, and they were even a couple of years apart.
Oh,
but they, no amount of agility training and positive reinforcement and treats and everything, and trying to recondition them and get them to like each other could prevent. We had daily fights. Daily.
Oh gosh.
You know, the term goes, I'm not going to swear, but female dogs be female dogs, So anyway, it's just when you have two females that are raised in the same household that are of similar temperament that have very high drive and especially terriers, they will go fight to the death. It's nasty. And so um, my mom and I made the ultimate decision that we needed to rehome them. Um, I was not on board with the decision that it was my dog that was the one to be rehomed first. But whatever. I was the kid at the time and didn't
Right.
know better. So my dog was the one that got rehomed, and then we found out later that it was my mom's dog that was kind of the instigator and would start things, and she actually ended up attacking my older dog, the Sheltie. So we said, nope, done, you're out.
Yeah.
So both
Yeah.
of them ended up finding new homes with no other dogs. And as far as we know, they lived long, happy lives.
Right.
So, but that always kind of bugged me. I was really, really, it left a huge impression on me. And I was really sad that our dogs ended up being you would have thought, if you had visited our house, you would have thought we were running a dog fighting ring, because they had pieces of their ears missing. I think Chaos even lost a piece of her tongue. That was my dog, Chaos.
Suiting name.
Yeah, right. And so we decided that, or I decided when I was starting to look for a new dog for our family now that I'd been married and everything like that. I wanted to research dog behavior and becoming a little bit more understanding of that side of things. And so I became pretty religious about watching Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer.
Yeah.
I watched Caesar. I watched Victoria Stilwell, It's Me or the Dog. I watched every single dog show, training, rehabilitation thing that I could find.
Mm-hmm.
And I just picked up things that resonated with me, and I would try it on people's dogs. And when we moved into this house, and now here in Springville, we moved in 2000. When did we move in? 2012. Actually, February of 2013 is when we officially moved in. Bought the house months earlier, but we didn't move in until the February 2013. We decided to look for a dog. Now that we had a house with a fence and all that stuff, we decided, okay, now is the time to get a dog of our own. And that's him right there. That's
He's
Bandit.
very cute.
Yeah, that's Bandit. He's an Australian Shepherd. He's 8 years old now. And when I went to go meet him, he was already 11 months, so almost a year old. I wanted to meet with him and do a thorough behavior assessment. I wanted to make sure that he was going to be perfect for our family. So I spent about roughly 2 to 3 hours with him. My mom went with me as well, and she did her own assessment and her own test. We pinched him, we pulled his hair, we poked him, we prodded him. I had a 2-year-old at the time. So
you let her go after him.
I let myself go after him. I wanted to test him on myself to see what would his reaction be, because that is the reality of the life that he would lead. Not that I want or encourage my 2-year-old to, jump all over him and pull him and lay on top of him and bounce on him and stuff. I actually discourage that. I even now tell my clients, do not allow your 2-year-olds or your infants to even have any contact with your dog, period. Like, let them get older, let them understand that dogs are not toys, and etc. So we spent a lot of time with him. And then I asked his owners if we could take him for the weekend and just give it a trial run. I paid a deposit for him, and then we took him for the weekend and came back and let them know that we really liked him. He was a great dog. And so we took him and he became ours. And then about 6 months later, that's kind of when the whole neighbor thing asked us if we could watch their dog. And it kind of spread around the neighborhood that I was the local dog sitter.
Right.
So I was like, okay, sure. Give us a
Why
call.
not?
Why not? So I don't know. My husband had always been, for the last few years that we'd been married, he had always been very supportive of this idea that I need to find something that I'm good at, something that I can make money off of and support our family.
Right.
Because obviously, with what I already shared with you, he may or may not be with us. We're not sure. Cancer is one of those crazy things that can just all of a sudden appear again.
Mhm.
And since he's already had it, it's very likely he'll have it again. So, um, I found a lot of joy in dogs growing up. And so I said, well, let's see if we can make something of this.
Right.
This was just supposed to be a side gig, like nothing huge. Um, so we ended up, let me fix my light. Oh, there we go. Hey, now I don't look like
Hey.
a scary person. Um, so we decided to, or I decided to put up an ad on KSL. And
Okay.
I just threw out the idea that, hey, if you're going out of town or you need a dog sitter or something like that, just give me a call. Here's my number. And at the time, this is ridiculous. At the time, I was charging $8 a day.
Wow. That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
What do you charge now, by the way?
retarded, right? So I charge 45 a night,
Okay, that makes more sense.
right? So at the time, I was like, I don't know what I had no clue what to do. I had no business experience. I had nothing. It was just, I'm gonna just throw this idea out there.
Yeah.
So obviously, $8 a day is cheap,
Yes,
super dirt
yeah.
cheap, right? And so obviously I got inundated with calls. And I was swamped with all these dogs in this house. And I was like, babe, what am I supposed to do? And my husband was like, raise your rates. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, if I do that, they're gonna stop calling. And he's like, no, they're not. Raise your rates.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he has a degree in business. I don't. So all the stuff that he learned in college, he taught me, and I've
Yeah.
been able to make a business of this. So um, it was funny though, because after about 6 months, I started getting calls and requests from these people who were asking me for pet sitting to say,
Mhm.
hey, my dog is so well behaved when he's at your house, and he's really good for the first 3 or 4 days after he comes home, but then he goes back to his bad behavior afterwards. What the heck are you doing? What are you doing, and can you teach us more about it? And so I said, okay, well, I just tell him to knock it off. Like, I don't know. I didn't know anything about teaching or that I was even doing something special. It was just, I don't allow barking, nuisance barking, right? They can let me know that there's something going on,
Yeah,
right?
that's their job.
Yeah, that's their job, right? But, after I've said, okay, I've answered the door, go shut up. I've got
Yeah.
it, right? So, I totally get it. I just tell them to be quiet. I do not allow barking. I do not allow ruckus, house wrestling inside. They can do that outside for sure. You run around and do all you want outside. No digging, no digging, no jumping fences, no barking, no be nice to each other. Hey girls, hold on a second.
It's okay.
Go downstairs.
They're barking inside. They're ruckus
They're
barking.
barking inside. Yep. They're
They're
barking
nuisance
inside.
barking.
The nuisance barking out. Go downstairs where I can't
Oh,
hear
bark
you.
outside.
Go bark outside. Go bark downstairs. Thank you. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay. Anyway, so if you know anybody that knows how to train children, let me know.
I'm failing miserably, so
They don't come with a manual, unfortunately.
no.
So, anyway, all of those things that I just laid out before you. I mean, that's not everything that I do. I just make sure that, they can
Right.
they can live in peace and harmony in my home and not disrupt us too much. In fact, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs here right now. Can you hear anything?
Are they all sitting on their little beds?
No, they're all in their crates, but yeah, that was a close one.
Okay, so I do have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that people came to you and are like, how do I train my dog? Do you, from what I've followed you, right? I followed you for a few
She's been
years,
stalking
obviously.
me. She's been
Yes,
stalking me.
yes, following every move you make. No, but do you I know you do like doggy daycare type of situation where you do that, but like, let's say, for example, right, we already kind of have a breed idea of what we want based on who our family is.
Mhm.
And let's say we get this puppy. Do you take, let's say and I'm like, Sarah, I don't know what to do. Because honestly, I've never had a dog. And I know that there's plenty of people that I've even talked to. Do you take the dog?
Do you want me to do my sales pitch for you?
No, I'm just asking. Okay, so the lender that I work with, I mentioned him, he's actually in Mapleton. He wants to get a dog.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, Sarah's amazing. I'm doing this video with her. He's like, well, I want to do a video with her. And I was like, I'm sure I'll give her your information. I'll set you guys up. And he's like, but does she take the dog? And I was
You
like,
don't. And
okay.
not
And I was like,
anymore.
I don't
Not
know.
anymore. Yeah. So let me tell you, I'll share with you what I previously did and then what I do currently.
Okay.
So
Okay.
previously it has been the norm in the industry, in the dog training industry, to and there's a whole variety of things. You know, you've got your private lessons, you've got your group classes, you've got your board and train, which is what you're describing, where the trainer would take the dog or puppy for anywhere from a week to up to 3 or 5. I've seen 4 to 6 weeks, and even longer depending on what the training is for. If
Mhm.
it's just a normal family pet like I deal with, then I usually did a 2 to 3 week board and train. At this point, I have completely changed my business model. I do not take the puppy or the dog anymore because a couple of things. I like my life not disrupted by a dog that has behavioral issues. And I
Okay.
also like my sleep. I like to be able to
Right.
go to bed at night and not have to wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to a puppy or a dog who's had an accident in their crate.
Right.
Right. So, another reason is I have found that my clients are much more successful long term
Okay.
if they do the training.
Okay.
See?
Yeah. No,
So
that makes
if
sense.
I mean, by all means, send your puppy or your dog to a trainer who does a board and train. They can get it done lickety split. And for a couple $1,000s, you're done. Right. However, what happens in 3 to 6 months when you, the owner, don't know what to do? Your dog was perfect for the first couple of weeks, maybe even a few months. But then things started to backslide because you weren't taught. You might have been given like a laundry list of things that you should or shouldn't do. You might have also done a 2 to 3 hour go home session with your trainer. However, you might have been given all the information, but you didn't practice it
Yeah.
with
And you don't know
your
how to use
dog.
it.
You didn't practice it on a daily basis. You didn't go through step-by-step process with your dog when your dog was learning it.
Yeah.
So it becomes very overwhelming for you and your dog to continue that behavior. That is a behavior that I have learned over the course of my 30 years,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
I have learned all of that information from living with dogs, watching their body language, religiously researching other dog trainers and their methods, and I spend thousands of dollars every year on my own education,
Yeah.
continuing education, right? So I'm constantly revamping and changing new things because I believe in continuing education. You're never going to know everything that you are going to learn right now. You're
Right. Oh,
constantly going to
absolutely.
be learning. So for me, I make sure that every client I work with also continues to learn as much as I do. Okay. So when we are training, I do one on one lessons. Right now, I offer both in home and virtual. So, literally, as we're talking right now, you and I could be training a dog.
Right.
I do this right here, just like that. Um, Usually, what happens is I will demonstrate on my end, either with one of my dogs or with a dog that's here that's staying with us. Because after training, you get to send your dog for boarding. Hey, look at that. after they're trained.
You're like, you are not allowed in this house until you pass
Ah,
my test.
yes, exactly. They have to know me. They have to be well behaved and all that stuff. So um, at this point, I don't do board and trains. Not saying it's a bad thing. If that's what you want, find a trainer that does it. Right.
Right.
If you want to learn with your dog, private lessons is the way to go. Okay.
Okay.
Group classes is another option. However, group classes kind of goes at the pace of the slowest learner, right? It's just like public school. Um, you can only progress as fast as the child who has the least amount of learning potential, right?
Yeah.
So those of you, if you do take a group class, the ones that are like really catching on, or those that have already been through like a basics course, aren't really going to get as much as they can from a group class, right?
So you don't do group classes, you
I
just
don't.
do one-on-one?
I don't do group classes. I used to offer those, but there's just not that much interest. Um, for the type of clients that I'm working with, there wasn't that much interest in that style of learning, that style of training.
And then for the boarding, do all of the dogs that you do board, they need to go through the Baker's Acres training course?
Unless they go through a colleague of mine who I have worked with in the past. So I have a list of colleagues that they're dog trainers. Some
Right.
people call them my competition. I don't have any competition. I have colleagues. Okay. I have friends and associates. So I don't consider myself competition. If a client wants to work with me, I'm happy to work with them. If they don't want to work with me, great. I will refer them to somebody else. I don't really care. I'm not in the business of cutthroat competition. I want to work with somebody who wants to work with me, not trying to buy their incentives and buy their business. So anyway, I won't go into that rabbit hole. But basically, if I get a call from somebody who was interested in my business and wanted to interview me, I'd be happy to interview them and have them, do this type of a call with me. If they decided that they don't want to work with me, that's perfectly fine. I'll send them a list, 4 to 5 different people that I know within their area. So for instance, I got a call from somebody who is up in Ogden, and I said, well, you're outside of my service area. I don't travel to Ogden. The farthest I will travel is Lehigh, and that's even pushing it. I hate that traffic.
It's not so bad now. Most of the construction's done on the freeway. It's not so bad.
Okay, good. But you're moving, right?
Well, not for a couple. I'm not ready for a dog yet. We want to get a puppy just because we want the dog to be raised with the family. And
There you go.
Layla's too little. She's 3, and
Yep.
I want the puppy to know that the puppy has the ability to be, even though they're a family member, they also have the ability, just like the family member, they have their own space. And
Yes.
a 3-year-old has no, like she
has no concept of space.
well, we have 2 cats, and one of the cats is like 17, and the other cat is maybe she's like 8 or between 8 and 10. And we're very lucky that the cats are extremely mellow tempered and even tempered, and like know that they're like I think they know that the babies are our cubs, and so they're very respectful, but I can't imagine having a dog and trying to
Yep.
teach them that, and then it's just not the right time. I need to be able to give the dog what it needs, and I just don't, not ready yet.
Right. Just so you know, I do have a whole playlist on YouTube. I do have a
Okay.
YouTube channel, by the way.
Okay.
I have a whole playlist on YouTube devoted to kids and dogs.
Yes.
Raising them together. So just a little plug for that.
Yeah, I'm
like,
not. Yeah, I'm
like
going
and
to
subscribe and all that stuff. No, just kidding.
No, I my YouTube channel currently has 2 videos, so I am not ready yet.
Good for
But
you.
I will subscribe. But yeah,
Good for
so
you.
what I meant was, yeah, I am not. When if we move, we'll still be
No. Yeah. No,
we'll be up in northern.
The timing needs to be right. I got a call from, in fact, this is something that I just I've always, always, always offered, but nobody's really taken advantage of. So here's
Okay.
something for you. I got a call recently
Okay.
from a brand new family who had already previously received a referral from two of their neighbors who had done training with me.
Okay.
They heard great reviews about it and said, "We want you to be our trainer, but we don't even have a puppy yet. We don't even know what kind of dog we want. We don't even know if we want a puppy. Can you help
Yep.
us?" And I said, "That you are the exact type of client I want to work with, because I want to start at the very beginning before you even consider a breeder. I want to know, like, I want to know all about you and your family. I want to know your lifestyle. I want to know what you guys, how active are you? Do you travel a lot? Are you homebodies? Are you couch potatoes? Do you go running for 5, 10 miles a day?" Okay, that determines what type of dog you're going to get.
Right.
Like, are you a Chihuahua type of a person,
Oh, no.
or are you a boxer type of a person, right? So I need to know who you are, what your lifestyle is like, and then I want to sit down with you and do a big, nice interview to meet everybody in the family. So this family, I'm not going to share too much about them, but they do have some medical histories as well
Mhm.
as some psychological problems. So, okay, that also determines what type of dog we're going to get, because anxiety, depression, and autism and all that stuff is really rough on a dog. This type of dog is not suited to a family like that.
Nope.
Herding dogs do not do well in anxiety, depressed type situations. They are very, very, very sensitive dogs. Okay.
Hmm.
They make, some people say, oh, they make great emotional support animals because they're so in tune with their owners. Yeah, bad combination. You do not want that. Yes, they are in tune with their owners, but it's also to their detriment.
Yep.
You need a dog that can be in tune with you, but also a dog that doesn't take it personal, right?
What dog did you suggest?
For this family, they are getting a Cavalier.
Ooh.
So we had our big family discussion, and we just had their breeder interview. So we did a Zoom call with the breeder that they had done some research on, and we interviewed this breeder and asked her a ton of questions about how she raises the puppies and the puppy's life history and medical history, the parents' medical history, everything like that, temperament and all that stuff. And we finally decided that we felt good about this breeder and we're going to move forward. The puppies are just a week old, so we have a lot of time to help this new family get settled and ready for their puppy to come in about 7 to, I would say, probably we're going to wait until 10 weeks of age instead of the traditional 8 weeks. So the breeder has agreed to keep the puppy for another 2 weeks after that 8 week period, which my own personal
I was gonna, yeah,
feelings on that. Yeah,
isn't it better to
it
let
is
it be
better.
like
The
10 to 12
longer,
weeks?
yeah, between 10 to 12 weeks is best if possible. I know most breeders don't, but just ask. If the breeder's
Yeah.
willing, do it. So anyway, they're going to be bringing their puppy home at the end of February, and we're going to be doing training right off the bat. So all of that training is also their training. So in the interim, from the time that they contacted me to teach them or do their interview, I am teaching them, I'm coaching them on what to expect with a puppy. What items should they buy? What things should they, or how should they set up their home? Where should they put the crate? Where is the puppy going to be sleeping? What's the potty training schedule look like? And what should they be feeding their dog? I'm not a veterinarian, but I do have a lot of knowledge as far as nutrition and vaccinations go. I do highly recommend that you vaccinate your animals, but I want to make sure that you do it responsibly. Don't just, okay, the vet said every year, suck it in there. No, let's ask questions and find out why. And if it is something that you feel is important, then do so. If you don't feel it's important for you and your lifestyle, don't do it. There are some vaccinations out there that are not required if your dog is not going to be in a boarding kennel. If your dog goes to a boarding kennel or goes to a doggy daycare regularly, yeah, they need to be vaccinated on a regular basis to make sure that they don't receive any ill effects, any passed on contagions, right? But if you're a homebody and you don't go anywhere hardly at all, your dog doesn't need it. Okay. So anyway, I won't go into that rabbit hole either. But yeah, I think that's about it as far as that. It
No,
just
you're doing, no, I've been taking notes.
Oh, good for you. The training that I do, that I offer, is not limited to any number of lessons, by the way. It's I do require a minimum of 4. Most of my clients opt to do 5, but it is open to say, okay, you need some further help, call me. Like, I'm
Do you
here.
do like do you do like a monthly subscription, or is it they buy like 4
It's
lessons
not,
at a
yeah,
time?
it's not a subscription per se. It's just I call it the training for life. So when you call me and sign up for training with me, it is for the rest of the dog's life. Okay.
Okay.
That's my guarantee, right? I don't guarantee that your dog is going to stop doing certain behaviors or start doing certain behaviors, because guess what?
Your dog.
It's a living, sentient, breathing animal that can
Yeah.
decide whether it's going to have a good day or a bad day, right? Same thing with you. Can I guarantee that you're going to get up tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning and do your job?
Nope.
No. Can I guarantee the sun will come up tomorrow? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We're kind
Well,
of
it's 2020, so maybe not.
I don't know. We're not even sure yet. So there are some things that are outside of my control.
Right.
However, what I can guarantee is that I will be there for the life of your dog. Okay.
So how does that work? How do you, so like, is there different like packages you offer then
It's just
that?
one. Yep, one
Okay.
package. So it's the training for life. You sign up and you get at least 4 to 5 lessons in your home or virtually. If we do virtual sessions, I usually offer more because I'm not there in person. So you might need a little bit more coaching as things go along and you're having to do it all by yourself. You get the online training course, which includes over 45 videos, actually close to 50 videos at this point, of me instructing you on how to hold the leash, how to take your dog outside to potty, and what to do if you're approached by an off-leash dog that's charging you, and a whole host of different topics, right? You can search on the on the YouTube playlist and find a specific video that you're looking for. I not just videos, but I have each lesson is printed out in a document. It's currently in a PDF file, so you can have it on your phone, you can have it on your Google Drive, you can have it stored on your computer. You can choose to print it if you wish.
Yeah.
The whole idea of this, though, is that you can literally train your dog on your own if you choose to. And you can purchase the online training course by itself. You don't have to do the Training for Life program, but all of the Training for Life program is all inclusive. It includes the online training course. It includes the one-on-one private sessions. It does include puppy camp. So puppy camp is for puppies between 10 weeks and 16 weeks of age. So roughly 4 months. They can come anytime between that time period. If they're over the 4-month, 5-month period, they are no longer considered eligible for puppy camp because they have now surpassed any of that milestone that they would have needed in that time period. Okay, so puppy camp is designed for those young puppies who need socialization. Yes, you can socialize your dog before they're fully vaccinated. Okay, as long as they are on track, up to date on their current vaccinations. That doesn't mean fully vaccinated, that just means on track. Okay, as long as the parents of the puppy were vaccinated and as long as the current puppy is on track with its vaccinations, they can come to puppy camp. Okay, puppy camp is Chico. He's currently my dog still. He's 7 years old, but in this picture he was 3 months old.
Okay, he's very cute.
He's so adorable, such a cute little guy. Puppy camp is where it's once a week, 1 day a week. We do Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Bring your puppy once a week from 8 a.m. until about 5:30 p.m. It's kind of like doggy daycare, except I'm very, very strict on the rules. They do get nap time. There is structured nap time. Okay. They get lots of playtime. with each other, but also socialization with my own children as well as my neighbors' kids. So whenever my neighbors' kids come over to play, there are rules of engagement, as it were.
Right.
They have to be calm, let the puppy approach them. Do not reach out and pick up the puppy and try to hold it themselves. They have to let the puppy approach them. And the puppy also has to learn not to jump all over their faces and scratch them and nibble on them. Not out of any aggression, obviously. I would
No,
never,
they're puppy.
yeah, I never allow an aggressive dog in my home.
Yeah,
So
you can't.
at this point, every dog that and if somebody were to call me and they don't have a puppy and they have an older dog and it might have some behavioral issues, first off, they have to fill out a questionnaire. And this questionnaire is super detailed. It's about 5 pages long, and they have to fill out truthfully in detail any and all incidences of any bites whatsoever,
Yeah.
regardless of how it happened, right? It could have been an accident. I don't care. I need to know if it happened or not. So they have to fill out that questionnaire. I ask very specific questions. Have they ever bitten a veterinarian or the groomer too? I need to know if a dog is in a stressful situation, are they willing to bite? Okay. Because guess what? Training is stressful. Okay. So after that questionnaire, then I request that they do a behavior assessment where they do meet in person and I do a series of assessments, tests on this dog to find out, okay, how far are they willing to go? And I grade the dog based on green, yellow, or red. Green is obviously a dog that is happy-go-lucky and could do whatever. You can poke them and prod them and they're not going to bite you. A yellow dog is a dog that is a little standoffish and might bite you, but they're really trying hard to restrain themselves. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. A red dog, I'll leave that open to interpretation. So anyway, once that behavior assessment is done and I've given the grade, then I give the client the options as to what they can do with that information. If it's a green dog, sure, they can start doing training right away. If it's a yellow dog, then we need to probably work on some things before we get them into puppy camp or anything like that. Obviously, if it's an older dog, they're not coming for puppy camp, but and then if it's a red dog, then we take into consideration, okay, what am I, their trainer, willing to handle
Right.
and take on that liability, right?
Oh,
If
absolutely.
I'm willing to take on the liability, then yes, we will sign up and go forward. If I'm not willing to take on the liability, and if I feel like the client themselves is not capable of doing so, I will refer them to somebody else, somebody far more able and having the facility, having the staff. If there is a red dog that comes through my door and I say, I'm not willing to work with this dog because of XYZ, then I will send them to a hardcore dog behaviorist, dog trainer who actually doesn't work out of their home like me. That is not the type of dog to work in a home training environment.
Yeah, not at all.
They need a professional trainer who has a facility and who has employees who have, this dog is going to take a ton of time and a ton of effort. If you put that all in one person, it is, and I've done this in the past. So it is emotionally draining. It is
Oh,
physically draining.
absolutely.
It is mentally exhausting to work with a dog like that requires that much that much wherewithal because you could get bit,
Right.
right? So yeah, I highly all those red dogs that come in, I say, no, you need to go see so and so who has a
Mm.
facility that has employees that can help you, because this is not the type of environment to do training with. So anyway, I don't know if that answered your question, how we ended
No,
up
you've
on
no,
this
you've answered all my
sidetrack,
questions.
but
No, I mean, it's nice to catch up and kind of learn more. No, it's
yeah,
totally fine. No, you've answered all the questions that I have
okay.
for the video, and then I have the 5 tips that you
Mhm.
sent me. And if you want to go ahead and email me like your YouTube
Yep.
channel, I think
I'll
I
send
have,
you all the links. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll go ahead and include that. So what I'll do is I'll share like a teaser, like a couple days before
Mhm.
I post. So I'll make like a little thing in my stories and post that. I'll tag you.
Cool.
Um, and then in and then when I post the video, I'll go ahead and, in the, like, like you can put your little caption, I'll go ahead and link you in that too.
Okay.
And that way, hopefully, you can get some clients. And then if you wouldn't mind, I mean, not that you need them, but you might. It's always nice to get more business, right? And get
For
more
sure.
exposure.
For sure.
And then if you wouldn't mind sharing my stuff also, that way,
Absolutely.
we can kind of work that way. And
Yeah.
then I'm actually meeting with the lender tomorrow.
Cool.
So I will let
Nice.
him know that I talked to you, that you don't do boarding, but this is what you do, and see if I know he has, his kind of thing was two-prong. He does, for his clients, he does like a toolbox of local businesses.
Cool.
So, I think he might do something where he actually like records a call with you.
Yep, that's fine.
And then, as far as, that, and then his other thing was he wants to get a dog, but he doesn't know how he wants to train the dog. So
Sure.
I'll let him know.
I'm
what we
happy to do
offer.
I'm happy
Yeah.
to do an interview with him. If he has any questions, he can always ask me. I give away a ton of free information all the time. So I'm happy to do whatever he needs. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let him know. And if I have any questions, I'll shoot you an email. But I think I kind of have everything that I
Good.
kind of wanted to review. I think you gave me some really good information, so I think that's awesome. And when I actually commit to this puppy thing, I will let you know, because I know we have a lot of questions about breeders. Like, I know what breed we want. We definitely want a pit bull. I think that for our family, like, we are an active family.
Awesome.
We like to spend a lot of time with our pets. We like, we want to bring the pet with us.
Yep. Good.
And so I think for our family, we want a dog that's gonna want to be like that, and we want a dog that's goofy and good with kids. And so, because that's kind of our personality too. So I think that breed, we've researched a lot. My husband's like, I want a husky. I'm like, oh no.
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 You don't want a husky.
No, we don't want a husky. I want a dog that's gonna be so I think that would be a good breed, but I don't know. From our research, it seems like.
My recommendation is, if you've never owned a dog yourselves after you've, been married and had a house and everything, my recommendation is to go down to the Humane Society or even to a rescue and just say, hey, we would like to either help out and just get a feel for the variety of the breeds.
I've been around a lot of dogs. Like, I grew up around dogs. I've been around dogs. I know I don't want a boxer. Like, you just don't. This is not.
It's a lot of maintenance.
Every boxer owner is like, they're the best dog in the world, and then I'm like, watch the dog, and I'm just like, that just
boundless energy.
Yeah, and I don't think a herding dog would be good for our family. We've got a lot of feelings in our family.
Not with kids, for sure.
Yeah, and I grew up with.
Bandit's been a great dog for us, but he's the exception. He is an Australian Shepherd, but he acts like a golden retriever.
Oh, sweet
so he's a great dog. He's great with our kids, with the people, but
you're lucky, because a lot of them aren't.
He's terrible with other dogs, though. That's the thing. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's probably something to do with the fact that he is a dog trainer's dog.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's hard to be a dog.
It's like the teacher's child.
Yeah, or the bishop's son.
Yeah.
It's hard, the caliber, the bar has been raised, and it's just hard on them. And so, at this point, he's 8 years old, and I just said, you know what, we just need to retire him. You just be the family pet, and you're fine.
He's so cute.
He is a cutie.
He's very cute. Well, thank you so much. It was fun catching up and learning more about your business. And I will, I'll shoot you an email and let you know. And I'll also email you the video that I do, just so you know what's going to come up. It's not like some random thing. And then I'll also shoot you like infographics. So basically, I'll give you everything I'm going to use, and that way so it's not like, oh my gosh, what is she going to say?
No,
but it's all going to be good. I mean,
Well, all of the stuff that I shared with you is public information anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm not gonna share, I won't like, yeah, I mean, not anything that I don't think you shared anything that you would not want me to say. But
Yeah,
it's mostly just gonna be about your success and like, what you offer people and how your service is different and,
yeah,
kind of like that. Just basically, I'm gonna be your hype girl.
good. I love it. Thanks, Jessica.
Bye,
Well,
Sarah.
let me know if there's anything else I can do for you, and I'll keep in
Okay.
touch.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.